Just what do you do with all those lemons? There aren't many lemon recipes out there, which prompted me to play in the kitchen. So I started by practicing oven-dried lemons. I did a couple cookie sheets of those and learned a lot from it. So the next day I went on to juice some lemons, and then I took the rinds from those and made lemon zest. And I also took and did these wonderful candied lemon drops. I made a batch of marmalade, testing a new recipe for that as well, which started by cleaning my jars. I boiled them, and that sanitizes them. Inspected my lids, which you can see I found a really bad one here. You don't want a single spot on your lids. Make sure they're really good. That's real important. I sliced up a bunch of lemons, dipping one of these cookie sheets one side in granulated sugar, so I have sweetened ones and non-sweetened ones. The non-sweetened ones are on the left, sweet on the right. I learned a lot. It said dry them for 8 hours. That was too much. I juiced some lemons. I juiced some grapefruit. I took the rinds, peeled out the pulp, and then I took those and sliced them into quarters. By slicing them into quarters, I was then able, as I don't have a food processor anymore, to put them into my blender and pulse it to create a nice zest. And then I took this zest, spread it out on a cookie sheet, and having learned from my dehydrated lemon slices, I watched it. After an hour, I went and checked. They were golden brown slightly. And I took my spatula, stirred them up so they wouldn't stick, and then put them back in the oven. Go in again for another hour. You can see the ones on the brown, how brown the ones on the left are. I stirred them up again. I had added another batch to that. I think I got my pictures backwards. But I wound up with 3 different ones. One quite brown, one with pulp, and one without pulp, not quite as brown. Then I took those and bagged them into snack bags, zipped them up, which leaves me to the candied lemon drops. This takes a while, so I didn't make too many, although I would do it again. I took the knife, split it down the side, which allows me to peel back the fruit. After I split it open, then I can just peel the fruit out. I took the pieces of it and cleaned them, taking each little piece. After it was clean, I would suggest setting it on a towel to absorb the extra water along with the winged ones that you'll see soon, as opposed to putting them on a cookie sheet thinking you're going to get away with it. Others, these are the winged ones. I took the winged ones, I sliced off that edge, and then I peeled back the skin to show only the pulp. I kept the wings on as a coating, and actually they turned out nice and crisp, and I actually liked them a lot when they got done. These did brown a lot more. I could have watched them and pulled them sooner probably, but I really like them. They're a little crunchier than the other ones. It's different. It's just different. Will I make them both again? Yes, both ways. You can see these are the ones that were not winged. I took confection sugar because I had lots of it left over from the holidays, and I did not have as much granulated sugar, and I want that for a couple of other recipes I'm going to create. And I coated these guys, and then I put them, you'll see me put them on this cookie sheet, but in reality I dried them first and then put them on a clean cookie sheet. Baked them, watched them, looked for that perfect little brown, and then pulled them out, sampled them, of course. I did not leave them on the cookie sheet because if you leave these caramelized creatures on the cookie sheet, you will not get them off the next day. The parchment paper will come back up with or the wax paper will come back up. The lower ones are the winged ones. They're the browner ones, but they still came out really good. That's a caramel on them, basically, when your sugar browns. The other ones are dry, but have a little more squirt to them, a little more lemon flavor to them. And nonetheless, both good. So I took from that point and I went on to making marmalade. The marmalade recipes call for water, and I've done them without pectin before. This time I used a box of pectin. I sliced 1 lemon thin, 2 Tangelos thin, of course getting all the pits out. Took 2 cups of lemon juice and 4 cups of Tangelo juice. Put that all in the pan together, added 2 cups of granulated sugar, brought it up to a boil, turned it down a little bit, let it cook for about 20 minutes total there. Reduced the heat, added another 1.5 cups of sugar, a box of pectin, stirred it all up again, let it simmer for another 30 minutes. Well, more of a cook than a simmer. At that point, I didn't want it to bubble too much. Stir often. Then I took a little spoon, set it aside with some of the grape juice in it to see how well it set. You can see it's not running when I tilt my spoon. So, of course, I might as well do the taste test, and I swooped it out, and it was delicious. Then I have to put it in the jars. I suggest wearing a pot holder like my fancy, new one, you can tell. I used a pointed spoon to get it in there. You want to make sure you clean your glass area really well before you put your lid on it. I always do mine upside down. It seems to help with the seals when I can. And I also use some plastic to put some of them in, some of it in, because that'll get eaten first, obviously. I did about 50 cents a jar. They're like 10, 12-ounce jars. That's it. But I'm going to make that recipe again because it came out really good. It was really easy. They all sealed. Yay. When you turn them back over, they should pop down. While I was doing all of this, I sent Donald out to strip our grapefruit tree so that we could go a little further. And I made a lot of juice, but I got to tell you, I have a whole lot more of these babies to do. There's a big old basket of them. I still have more lemons on the tree, plus a few in the house. More Tangelos to do. And I'm not doing it tomorrow because it's supposed to be house cleaning day. But I'm also going to I want to make a lemon flan. If you've never made flan. If that wasn't enough, I went out and harvested some of my chives to dry as well. And I hope you have a great day.